Our region of Northwest Indiana is located in the most northwestern corner of the state of Indiana, bordered by Lake Michigan to the north, farmland to the south, and is just 20 miles southeast of downtown Chicago. The health of the economy of Northwest Indiana has been strongly tied to the presence and strength of heavy manufacturing. Like many other cities in the Rust Belt, urban sprawl, systemic racial segregation, and a decrease in manufacturing has left much of the northern half of our region blighted and depressed, while the southern parts of our region undergo continuing expansion, with farmland being developed at alarming speed. Once known for our diversity and cutting-edge city planning, the majority of our urban residents today are low-income minorities left with decimated infrastructure, a story all too common in the greater Midwest. But grassroots change is happening. Our region, long known for rebuking desegregation and collaboration, has entered a new dawn of opportunity. Our goal is to develop an innovative food hub network to embrace the differing interests and resources across our region where collaboration is necessary and celebrated to eradicate food insecurity. Hi, my name is Ann Massey. I am president of the Northwest Indiana Food Council, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to build a just, thriving, and sustainable food system for all in Northwest Indiana. I am also a mother and a beginning farmer in my second year of organic small-scale vegetable farming. I couldn't be more honored to introduce our team to you today. Our team is an extremely passionate group of people who live and breathe food systems change. Many of us are farmers. If we're not farmers, we're working on food systems research or emergency food assistance. It's really something that every one of our board members and members of this particular Gamechangers laboratory team are passionate about as their life's work.
Hi, I'm Virginia Pleasant, Vice President for the Northwest Indiana Food Council and Value Chain Coordinator for Northwest Indiana. I'm also a PhD candidate with research focusing on small-scale and alternative farmers and a member of the working group to create an Indiana Good Food Charter. I moved back to Northwest Indiana 2.5 years ago to return to my roots, but also to begin building a locally oriented food system here. The region has always been a unique space in that we're not quite a part of Chicago, but we're also pretty distinct from the rest of Indiana as well. However, there's great potential here. We've got fertile soil, a lot of access to fresh water, access to regional markets, and a whole lot of really passionate people that want to see this succeed. What we're lacking is food infrastructure. For me, as for so many others, this work inspires passion because it provides an opportunity for me to return to my roots while at the same time providing space for me to imagine and build more resilient communities.
Hi, I'm Shane Hansen. I'm the owner of Rainfield Farm in New Carlisle, Indiana. I'm also a member of the Northwest Indiana Food Council. I used to live in Chicago, and while traveling to the area to visit friends and family, I noticed there was a lack of fresh local organic produce. And it's something that I took for granted while living in Chicago, working at farmers markets and volunteering at community gardens. Since I enjoyed growing food, I started thinking seriously about starting a farm back home in Northwest Indiana. Over the course of a couple of years, I developed a plan, and I moved back and I started Rainfield Farm. We've been growing organic produce here in the community for 7 years now. We have a CSA, we sell at farmers markets, and we also sell to 2 local grocery stores. We've also participated in Farm to School for 2 school districts now. In addition to the farm and the food council, I was the manager of the Michigan City Farmers Market for a couple of years. I became a member of Wholesome Wave, and I initiated the SNAP Double Up program, making our market the only one in the region. Over the course of 10 years, I've been involved in the food system in various ways through growing, distributing, volunteering, or even management. And learning about this opportunity is what led me to be a part of this team. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I am a co-farmer with Shane at Rainfield Farm. I moved to the Northwest Indiana region from Portland about 6 years ago. Being in the Portland food scene with local and seasonal, being a driving force over there, super crazy hyped up farmers markets, the community just being completely engrossed with the products that the farmers were offering. I was bitten by the food bug, so I came here to learn how to farm and get my hands kind of in an area where I thought might be not as progressive as Portland, but also to kind of be a part of that food movement, which is still growing here. What I found moving here is it was a completely different scene where more than half of my customers at my first farmers markets didn't even know what kale was. This was about 5 years ago. So it's really been kind of an eye-opening experience for me about just how different our region here in the Midwest is compared to the West Coast. It's definitely been an eye-opener. With the community also just kind of like not really knowing what a lot of different fresh produce is. There's not a big interest or know-how on how to prepare the foods or why they should be interested in seasonal and local produce. So what we want to do is we want to reimagine the expensive food hub without significant investment. How can we move into the space of creating critical infrastructure by relying on our community assets to lay the foundation for a really thriving food system? We lack an institution at the moment, or kind of like a central body that supports the entire food value chain and the connectedness of soil health to human health, eco-diversity, cultural diversity. So by establishing a network of physical placemaking food hubs, we will address both the food insecurity and the farm viability with a sustainable systems leadership approach. We want to create kind of a closed loop system from the farmer to the consumer and the community by creating a system of hubs, which will be small, embedded in various communities and near on the campus of schools. We have a centralized main hub that's located in the heart of the area where it is in the middle of all 7 of our counties. With this main hub, we'd like to make it self-sustainable by creating a space really for people to come and hang out, get involved in different activities, seasonal activities such as you pick. There will be farmers markets every weekend, live events. We will have an on-site learning farm for the next generation of young farmers, as well as a community space, a community kitchen, where we'll be able to take those goods and we'll be able to process them into value-added products, which we'll then be able to distribute to our other 7 hubs. Going off onto our 7 other hubs, we imagine smaller co-ops with these hubs in these 7 different counties. At the co-ops, people will be able to purchase the value-added product with the leftover produce from other farms, as well as from our learning farm at the main hub. And they'll also be able to go there to kind of just get resources, learn how to properly prepare, store, cook the food that they're getting, and to make it so that it's very accessible to those in food deserts, as well as accessible on an economical level. We'll be accepting SNAP vouchers, things of that nature.
Our team has laid a foundation and environment for collaboration across diverse communities, evident through our recent USDA grant awards and community outreach successes. In partnership with our many stakeholders, both public and private, we need a resource like the Gamechangers Laboratory to help us reimagine long-term, community-based solutions and lift the heartland into an age of food security and racial equity.